Let's do it. What's going on? We are on the Second Floor podcast. I'm with my homies Cassius and Karam Sultan, back from his honeymoon, looking fresh, looking relaxed. Good to see you, brother.
Thank you.
Today is a very special day. The day we're recording this is January 19th, and this is, as we formerly know him, JusReign's comeback. You know, this is, as a first-generation Canadian myself, and as a South Asian, I grew up, fanboying JusReign. And this is the supposed quote-unquote comeback where JusReign is coming out with his new show, Late Bloomer. So, JusReign is, of course, right now talk of the town. You look him up right now. There's news articles, all about his comeback. And I'm emphasizing this word comeback because this is what I want us to talk about, is as content creators, we're at nowhere near JusReign's level yet, but a lot of what he's been talking about lately is the fact that he's just needed time to not be online anymore. And I want us to kind of have a conversation around what you guys think about what impact taking a break can have on you being able to just have more space to be creative and just have more space to be yourself in general. I think JusReign, he's said a lot of things coming back about how he felt like as a content creator, he almost felt like he needed to constantly post. He needed to keep fueling this beast, which was his page. And at the time, he just wanted to make fun skits, and then he started to get a lot more attention, and then now all of a sudden you're just doing things for different reasons. Outside of the many myths and many things that were said about why he left, I just feel like now the stance he's taking is genuine, and he just literally felt like he just needed a break. Like he's 19 years old at the time when he started content creating and never stopped. And I think why I'm so like why I'm in a way a little bit rattled about this whole like stance people take on why'd you stop is it's his life. You can put your foot on the gas however much you wish, and then you can put your foot on the brakes however much you wish. But it's crazy how us, or even being in the space of content creation, where if even we notice we stop, all of a sudden we start questioning we're doomed. We haven't posted in a while. Oh, we got to think of something to post. And I've been guilty of that too. And it's I want to know from your guys' perspective if you think it's actually detrimental to take that long of a break, no matter how far into your content creating journey you're in, or if it actually, you guys see some benefit. You almost look at it you know what? It got me thinking. What if I took a break one day and came back with something like a TV show or anything else?
I think it's, let's just talk about JusReign for a little bit, because I think when he started in the realm of early YouTube, right? Where there was a handful of these creators, right? So JusReign, Lily Singh, FouseyTube, Vitaly, all these people who would make pranks and skits, and King Batch. I don't know if you guys know King Batch. Those were the guys. They're the founding fathers of content creating in these short little skits. So I think the creator economy back then was a lot different from today, right? Before, you had these guys and they would all collaborate with each other, and you would always just see, okay, these are the guys in this space. And then all of a sudden, as things changed, as YouTube evolved, and as the platform continuously got more saturated, you would see different platforms, different actors, different individuals coming up in the space. And I think that with JusReign being in the game for so long, I feel like that can take a toll on someone's mental health, and how they, can sometimes feel like they're just spinning their tires, spinning their wheels, and coming up with comedic skits. And I feel like with him, I watched the interview that he had on TV with a news anchor, and he was saying that, I just needed a break. He's like, the internet's a crazy place, and I just felt like it was taking a toll on my mental health. And to be honest, although he took 4 years off, it doesn't seem like very long. I mean, like when he said that, it doesn't seem like he felt like it was a very long time. But I feel like that mental break from the internet, especially when your career and your job is all dictated by how well your videos do on social media or YouTube, your entire career, everything is based off this. You feel like you can't get off the train. And we've felt like this before too. It's like if we don't do a podcast every week, or if we don't post videos on our social media or Instagram, you have this itch of like, oh no, like I'm falling off. I'm not getting that attention, or I'm not getting that, you know, the. But he got to a point where he became super successful, right? He became one of the top, you know, Indian creators. He got a ton of opportunities. Probably made a ton of money off his YouTube channel. And at a certain point, as you grow up, like you said, he started at 19. At a certain point in your mid-20s and early 30s, you start to question things. You start to see, well, what's my purpose? Why am I doing these things, right? At 19, it's all fun and games probably, right? It's like, oh, let's do this. This will be funny. Let's do it with some homies, right? And then when you become an adult, a full-grown adult, you feel you want to take the next step. And what's the next chapter in this journey? And so I feel like he had that sort of moment where he's like, okay, what am I doing here? And why am I doing it? And so I'm pretty sure he probably had some questions internally. He's like, you know what? I just need a break. And he needed that break to figure it out. And now he's back. So,
yeah, I definitely think that as humans, we all go through different cycles. And I think him ending the skit cycle was one of the things that he needed to get through. But at the same time, had he not been so relevant, it's been 4 years since he's posted, and I didn't even follow him like that. Like he wasn't somebody that I just searched up, but I did see all the time. And even now, it's crazy to me that he took a 4-year break and he's still relevant in terms of a post goes up and people start talking about him. So it just shows like what impact he really had before when he started content creation. But my brand, when I first started it, was in the dark. So I always believed in taking breaks and going ghost mode, where nobody can really see what you're doing because there's no outside influence, and then you're really able to portray who you are as a person and put that into a purpose. So I think like how he's grown up and he started at 19, he's definitely at a point where the skits don't hit the same, they don't feel as meaningful as they once used to. So I'm sure with his own TV show, and to be honest, I don't follow him like that. Maybe I will a little bit more now, but I think from the outside looking in, from a completely different lens, I would say that his show probably is going to have some form of teaching involved, some form of impact along with the skits. Because I think before, if it's purely entertainment, which to me, like I have seen some of his honey doolers, right? It's funny, but like I think there is a certain point where you want to be able to give back in your own way. And if you have an audience and it's been 4 years since he's posted and he still has people looking him up, then he can do a lot of good with that attention as well.
Yeah, his relevancy, even to this day, just shows how much people are excited to see what he now can create. Because to Karam's point there, like with time, as more time passes on, I feel like it's more justifiable to see the change in someone. Mm-hmm. Let's just say he had this plan in the back of his pocket even close to around the time he was still creating content. Let's just say no break happened and this launched. I think more of his fans and people in general would be confused. Like that's the power of what this break did. Is it allowed 4 or 5 years of maturity and growth to settle in, and people naturally, even after that many years, they also grow and mature, and then they see a whole new side of him. So it's like you're so used to, let's just say, good example would be, who's the actor I'm trying to think of, is the guy. Why can't I remember his name? He's the guy that goes,
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, McConaughey. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love how that is
into
the sink in, right?
Wolf of Wall Street.
So McConaughey talked about this. He said, I do not want to be the rom-com guy. Whatever it is. I don't know if I ever said this on air, but it's one of those most brilliant stories where the producers were like, man, come on, McConaughey, like, we'll pay you $5 million to just shoot this movie. And he just reached a point where he had a switch. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then they're like, come on, man, like, you're the rom-com guy. And he's like, well, what if I don't want to fucking be the rom-com guy? And then they're like, whoa, okay, well, you know, they went back, they called his agent, hey, we'll pay Matthew $20 million. And then the agent goes, come on, Matthew, they're going to pay you 4 times as much. He said no. So sure enough, this went to 50, then to 100. Then it just went to an insane number. And Matthew still said no. And he, similar to even like JusReign, he's like, I don't care how long I have to wait. This is not my story anymore. I have so much more value to provide. I have so much more I want to give. Give me a new role. I want to do action. I want to do something different. So I share this because eventually he was so willing to be like, if I can't, like, I can only go so much time without acting. Like, I got to get an opportunity here eventually. To the point where he was like, if I have to go back to teaching, I'll do it. Like, I'll go back to my $60K salary a year, but it's just, I do not want to do something I don't want to be known for anymore. Mm-hmm. And I feel like JusReign in the same light, let's face it, like, he could have kept making those videos. Mm-hmm. He could have kept making people laugh. But internally, I think a bigger battle would have happened. And I think now, as someone who's a content creator out there, you're kind of like, you play with this idea of who am I and who do people know me as, right? Who am I and what are people going to expect me to talk about? And I think a long enough break allows someone to, like, in a weird way, have their audience be like, I get, like, this angle now. I see how this is different because of the time it took, right? But I just wish in a weird way that people would just accept others for how differently, like, they become without that time. It's like, remember when you're in school and, like, after a two-week Christmas break, it felt like forever, and you start wearing different clothes and you start acting a little different, and the homies are like, yo, man, like, why are you talking like that? And it's just because you might have started watching a different show, or you just started to like gain influence over your break over something different. So, like, my stance on this is, like, why do we have to accept people more after so much time has passed?
I think like, in terms of growth, everybody's going to go through different mistakes to get to their end goal, right? If you're consistently posting, if the end goal is 10 mistakes away, each mistake is being watched and influenced. So you might actually redirect yourself somewhere else that actually doesn't lead you to where you want to be. And I think the power of really doing stuff where nobody is watching and taking time off is now you go through each different step learning something new, and you don't have any outside influence. So internally, the battle that you're going to have later with people, where it's, this is who you are and what does the audience know me as, that changes because now you're more in control of who you are as a person. So then when you go through those mistakes by yourself and you take that time off, then the end product, when it hits the consumer, is that much more acceptable and that much more adapted easily, versus like you go through each mistake and then everybody has something. Oh, he's doing it this way, but I bet you I would do it this way, right? Like, there's always, I would do it differently. They're doing this, they don't know how to do it. If it was me, I would do it this way. And I think those 10 mistakes, or however many in the 4 years that you're able to dictate, changes the person's final product, and then they're able to give you their art versus people all creating art piece together.
Well, yeah, you get to a point where I feel like with JusReign, it's like when you're building an audience, it's like you're looking at what other people are doing and you're seeing what's working and what's not working, right? Especially in the comedic space, right? People are making little vines. Okay, we got to hop on Vine and start making skits on Vine. Okay, Vine transitioned into YouTube. Okay, everybody's making these short skits on YouTube. Let's start making short skits on YouTube. All right, Instagram popped out. Okay, now we got to make vertical, videos, and now TikTok, et cetera, et cetera. So you almost evolve with the platform that you're trying to build on. And the problem with that is that influences your art, like Karam said. It influences what you're doing. And so now you are emotionally attached to this platform. Whether you know it or not, subconsciously you are attached to this platform. Subconsciously you're attached to the views and the likes and how long the YouTube video is and how the thumbnail looks. And all of a sudden it's like this, it becomes this thing, almost like this toxic attachment. And it dictates how you work. It dictates how you make ideas. And so I'm sure with JusReign, after he built this audience, he's got a big audience. People know him, they recognize him, you get brand deals, et cetera, et cetera. You have hit a pinnacle of success that not many creators do. And that isn't the thing anymore. And even personally for me, as like when I was posting on YouTube, is like, or not YouTube, on Instagram and all these other places, if I wasn't posting on a weekly basis, I had this weird itch. It's like, oh man, I'm not posting, I'm not building my audience, I'm not building my channel. And it became this sort of rat race and rabbit hole of like, how do you gain more followers? What do you do here? What do you do there? What's this person doing? What's that person doing? Take this strategy, that strategy. And I started dictating how I was posting, because all I was thinking about was those followers, those likes, those numbers. And at a certain point, I just cut it off. I was like, and that, it took a while, but I had to take a break from the platform in order to detach myself, and now I could look and say, okay, what's my purpose here? What am I doing? And what are the posts, are the things that I'm posting on social media, online, on the internet, are things that I want to post, and they have a purpose to it, and they align with where I want to go. And I feel like whether he says it publicly or not, I'm sure he went through that moment. That moment came where he's like, my mental health's going away. I'm just so ingrained with the internet, and it's just getting crazy, that I need to take a step back.
I think just to add one more thing, Kenny, before I let you take the mic back, I think just to add to that, it's almost like you're everybody who's in the content creation game. We start off playing checkers, right? We started off playing a game, and it's one step at a time. And there's a certain point that everybody, whether they want to take that next jump or not for themselves, decide to switch the game. You're going to be playing the game regardless, but then you have to switch from checkers to chess and think more long term, because chess moves don't happen instantly. And I think that's one of the biggest keys, is like when guys make comebacks like this, to me, I see it as they're playing a game and now they're switching which game they wanted to play because they want to take it even further. And sometimes these moves to us, like if we're going through each mistake step by step, as you're as an audience member, you're able to see it, then I think like when you switch it to chess, it's harder because they can't actually see what your long-term vision is. They can't see 4 or 5 steps ahead, 15 steps ahead. So then it's harder to be able to understand. But at the same time, JusReign taking that time off, I'm sure when he's doing the skits, he wasn't thinking about, okay, after this video, I need to do this video. But I would guess that the skits were easy enough where they're more improv, they're more on the fly, they're more exciting and fun that way too. But I think, and what excites me now is for a guy like him, he could definitely have more impact just by having those 4 years to really break down how he wants to move the pieces. And when you switch that game from checkers to chess, that's where content creators go from entertainers to entertainers with purpose.
So growing up, when I played video games, was I doing it right all along by like never finishing a video game, just going from one video game to the next video game to the next video game, just constantly switching it up?
No, I would say he finished checkers. He became a master at that first.
That's so true. Actually, he knew it was done.
Yeah, he knew. He played the game so many times, you couldn't beat him.
That's like when you're playing GTA and like you beat the game, but you still playing the damn game to just like see how many stars you can get, right? Just like you're like,
and then when the stars are done, you get all the cheat codes in. You get that chopper flying from top down at
you're still trying to get hit with that dopamine hit of like, yo man, I'm gonna try to do this and I'm gonna put the cheat code in where I don't die, and let's see how long this lasts. Right?
I still remember the cheat codes.
Holy, that's crazy. Yeah, see, that's a whole other rabbit hole of a conversation with GTA coming out. But yo, like, here's the thing. I find that